In the early days of climbing, good equipment was the exception rather than the rule. Ropes would sometimes break, and the other kit sometimes functioned pretty poorly, if at all. Today's climbers are much more fortunate. Modern quality control systems and manufacturing mean that faulty or poorly designed equipment is incredibly rare. Equipment failure, when it does happen, is usually a result of either poorly maintained or damaged equipment, or by the user not understanding the limitations of their equipment. Every climber should know how and when to check their equipment. Equally important is knowing how to use and to care for the equipment and when to retire it. Okay, so before you go climbing, when you're sorting your rack out, it's a good idea just to give it a good check, give it the once over. So have a look at a set of wires here. Just have a quick look for any signs of corrosion on the wire, any big kinks in there. Just having a look there. And the thing to really look out for is if you've got any broken strands in the wire. That's going to compromise the strength of that wire, so you want to get rid of that and not use it. So we'll take that off the rack. I'm not going to use that. Next we've got quick draws and carabiners. So these are the mainstay of your rack really. The carabiner just makes sure that the gate opens and closes smoothly. So if you have a gate that sticks open, that's going to seriously weaken the carabiner. So really shouldn't use that. The other thing to look out for is any sharp edges caused by wear. That won't weaken the carabiner that much, but it won't do your rope any favours. So best not to use that one. And your slings and quick draws, just check for any furry slings where the sling's been abraded. So that side looks okay there. If you flip that over, and you see there's quite a bit of abrasion damage to the sling. Sort of cut fibres in there, so that'll be quite seriously weakened, so we don't want to use that. And camming devices, make sure the cam retracts and opens out smoothly. Don't forget to check the sling as well, and just have a quick look for any broken or bent cables. This one here, a few broken strands on the trigger wire, that might break when we use it, so probably best not to use this one today. Retire that. Check the flexible stem for broken wire strands, in particular where the stem joins the solid head unit. So equipment failure, when it does happen, tends to be caused by poorly maintained or damaged gear, or because the user doesn't understand the limitations of the equipment. And a couple of examples. So these are real life examples. This rope here has been contaminated with some battery acid, sulfuric acid. It's broken during use at the climbing wall. See, it's completely destroyed the rope there, and that just failed as someone was being lowered off. The correct storage would stop that from happening. So looking at the limitations of equipment, this here is one of the sort of original types of rigid friend, and this was placed in a horizontal crack with the stem sticking out. So when the climber fell off, the leverage caused the stem to break. So if the user had known about that limitation, the friend wouldn't have broken. So grit and sand will be very bad for your rope. They'll sort of damage the fibres from the inside. So look after your rope, keep it clean. A good way of doing that is to keep it in a rope bag. Keep it out of all the mud and grit. So before you climb, just when you're flaking your rope out, just give it a quick run through your hands and look at it just to check for any problems. If you're looking for any big lumps, cuts in the sheath, anything really obvious, you're going to flake your rope out before you climb anyway.
Okay, so before you use your equipment, always just give a quick check. So with a helmet, check that the buckle is clipping and unclipping, and check all the fittings are secure, and do a good squeeze test looking for any cracks that might occur when you do that. Again, just check the buckle before you climb. With your harness, just do a visual check before you use it. Check the belay loop for any signs of wear. Check in and around the leg loops and the waist loop tie-in point, again for wear and tear, and just check all the buckles are looking correct, neat and tidy. For money's sake, check your gear loops are secure. That's your harness ready to use.
These simple pre-use checks should pick up on any defects before they cause a problem. Every couple of times a year you should also do a thorough and detailed check, and the more frequent and intensively you climb, the more often you should do these checks. You should also check any equipment that's been involved in a fall or other incident, and you should also check new equipment just in case there's anything wrong with it. It's rare, but it can happen. Any equipment which fails a check because of damage or which has exceeded its lifetime should be retired. After you've been sea cliff climbing, if you don't wash your gear off afterwards, then the salt will badly corrode any carabiners and metalware, so you don't want that to happen. So get your rack and just give it a wash, just in some lukewarm, clean water. Just give that a rinse off, and then you're going to want to hang it up to dry afterwards. Okay, so occasionally you're going to want to clean your rope. A good way of doing that is using a rope brush, but otherwise just a sink of water will do. And just get that in. Just pull the rope through the brush, or you can use a normal scrubbing brush, and this will just get some of the mud and grit out of it. It tends to build up over time, and that should prolong the lifetime of your rope. Allow wet gear to dry away from strong heat sources before putting it away. Use oils and lubricants recommended by the manufacturer. Wipe clean any excess residue. So after you've dried your kit, naturally, you want to put it away somewhere safe. So make sure it goes somewhere away from strong sunlight, and most importantly away from any dangerous chemicals. Further advice can be found on the information labels on new equipment and on manufacturers' websites. You can also find useful advice on the BMC website, where you can download our free care and maintenance guide.